Okay, welcome to the deep dive.
Glad to be diving in.
So you've given us your sources and our mission, well, it's what we always do. Pull out the crucial insights, the really important takeaways.
Yeah, cut through the noise.
Exactly. And we know you, the listener, you're often looking to grasp big ideas like efficiently, right? You want to walk away feeling genuinely informed, not, overwhelmed.
And that's absolutely what we're aiming for today. Think of it as a rapid immersion.
A focused one, too. Today, we're kind of aiming to condense maybe a year's worth of wisdom into this single session.
It sounds ambitious, but the sources focus on these 10 core principles. Really powerful stuff for high performance and, well, just a more thought-out personal philosophy.
Right. It's like a curated toolkit. And the main source we're pulling from is titled, Teach Me What I've Ignored for Too Long. Catchy.
It is, and it lays out these 10 concepts, almost like a LifeOS, an operating system.
Okay, so let's map it out for everyone. We're talking second-order thinking.
The skill of letting go.
Status game awareness. The idea that your default mode matters more than your peak.
Yep. Emotional regulation is a superpower. Inversion thinking.
Strategic patience. Reputation as leverage. Thinking in portfolios.
And the last one, the courage to be disliked.
Quite a list. Okay, let's jump straight in. First up, second-order thinking.
Right. So this is really about looking past the immediate result of, well, anything you do, a decision, an action.
So not just the first domino.
Exactly. It's asking, okay, I do this, then what happens? What are the ripple effects, the consequences down the line?
Like if a company decides to, say, cut corners on materials, first order, save money.
Right, immediate benefit.
But second order, maybe product quality tanks, customers leave, reputation is damaged, long-term stuff.
Precisely. Strategic thinking is basically this. Seeing the chain reaction, anticipating those secondary and tertiary effects, it's thinking several moves ahead.
Avoids just reacting to things.
Yeah. It prompts the question, really, for anyone listening. Can you think of a time, maybe looking back, where thinking about those then what effects might have, changed the decision you made?
That's a good prompt. And it kind of leads naturally into the next idea, doesn't it? The skill of letting go.
It does. Because sometimes those second-order effects show you that something you're holding on to. Well, it needs to be let go.
It sounds simple, letting go, but it's often really hard.
Oh, absolutely. We think growth is just adding things, skills, goals, whatever. But subtraction is just as vital. Maybe more so sometimes.
Subtracting what, though?
Old goals, maybe. Things that don't really fire you up anymore. Habits that are, holding you back. Even old versions of ourselves, old identities that we've outgrown.
Okay, like clinging to a past success or a way you used to be.
Exactly. And the skill is recognizing, okay, this served its purpose, but now. And then consciously releasing it. It frees up so much mental energy, cognitive resources we don't even realize we're spending.
Like clearing out clutter, but mental clutter. Resentments. Maybe fixed ideas about things.
Spot on. That's mental baggage. Letting it go isn't passive. It's like a strategic decision. You free up that energy for what actually matters now and, for the future.
So if you feel stuck, maybe look at what you need to drop.
Often, yeah. That's the key sometimes. Identifying what needs to be left behind to move forward.
Okay. Thinking ahead, shedding the past. What's next? Status game awareness. This sounds potentially uncomfortable.
It can be. It's about recognizing this often totally unconscious drive we have for social validation.
Like wanting attention, approval, feeling, a bit superior.
All of that. It's deep-seated, part of being social creatures. But the problem is it can hijack our focus. We start chasing status instead of creating, actual value.
So someone might choose a project because it looks good, gets them noticed, even if another project would have more real impact.
That's a classic example. Or constantly signaling how busy and important they are. It's all part of the game.
And the point is just to be aware of it.
Awareness is the crucial first step. Seeing it in yourself, seeing it in others. Once you recognize the game, you can consciously decide, okay, am I playing this status game or am I focusing on the substance?
Choosing real results over just perception.
Exactly. So maybe a reflective question here is, when you're going after something, pause and ask, honestly, is this about creating real value or is some part of this about seeking status?
Ooh. That's a short question. Okay, it ties into the next one nicely, I think. Your default mode matters more than your peak.
It really does. Because we love celebrating those peak moments, right? The amazing presentation, the breakthrough idea.
Sure, the highlights.
But the source argues quite convincingly, I think, that it's your average day, your consistent baseline performance, your default mode that actually shapes your long-term success much more.
So one amazing day followed by a week of slacking isn't as good as just being consistently solid.
Pretty much. Consistency compounds. It's about building that reliable foundation, not just chasing occasional fireworks.
And the source mentioned automating excellence, making the good stuff your default.
Yeah, creating systems. Deliberate routines, frameworks, processes.
Yeah.
Things that make doing high-quality work the normal thing, the easy thing.
Like a morning routine that sets you up right. Or a specific way you handle email.
Could be anything like that. The goal is to rely less on sheer willpower, which, let's face it, runs out, and more on these reliable systems that just guide you towards doing well day in, day out.
Makes sense. So what kind of defaults, what systems could someone listening think about implementing to sort of lift their average day?
That's the key question to ponder.
All right, building good defaults. And closely related, I guess, is managing our internal state. Next up, emotional regulation is a superpower.
Definitely feels like one, doesn't it? Especially now. It's the ability to manage your inner world, to respond thoughtfully instead of just reacting.
Not getting carried away by anger or anxiety or frustration.
Exactly. Keeping a clear head, especially when things get stressful or chaotic. It's absolutely fundamental for good decision-making, for resilience, for leadership, even just for, feeling a sense of peace.
It's having that pause button between stimulus and response.
That's a great way to put it. And think back to what we said about feeling overwhelmed. Emotional regulation is the antidote, really. You can get control over how you react to the overwhelm so it doesn't completely derail you.
A true superpower in today's world. Okay, so we've got thinking ahead, letting go, seeing the games, building defaults, managing emotions. Now, inversion thinking. Sounds like turning things upside down.
Pretty much. Instead of just asking, how do I succeed? You flip it. You ask, how could this totally fail?
Okay, why would you do that? Sounds a bit pessimistic.
Maybe. But it's incredibly useful. By deliberately thinking about all the ways something could go wrong, the potential pitfalls, the worst-case scenarios, you spot weaknesses you might otherwise miss.
So you're finding the holes in the plan before they happen.
Exactly. If you're launching a product, ask, what could kill this launch? Bad marketing, technical glitches, competitor reaction.
And then you can plan for those things, mitigate the risks.
Precisely. It's basically proactive risk management. A surprising number of failures, big and small, could probably be avoided if people just asked, what's the worst that could happen and how do we stop it?
So next time you face a challenge, try flipping it. How could this go disastrously wrong?
It's a powerful mental tool.
Interesting. Okay, next, strategic patience. This feels countercultural today. Everything's instant.
It really is. And that's why strategic patience is so rare and so powerful. It's the ability to play the long game, to stick with important goals even when the payoff isn't immediate.
Resisting the urge for that quick win, that instant gratification.
Yeah. Because the biggest rewards often take time to materialize. Think about building a great career, mastering a really complex skill, building deep trust in relationships.
Those don't happen overnight.
Not at all. They require consistent effort, often for years, with maybe slow, visible progress initially. Strategic patience is about staying committed, trusting the process, knowing that the rewards down the line can be exponential.
Delayed gratification leading to much bigger things.
That's the idea. So maybe think about your big long-term goals. Where could applying a bit more strategic patience really make the difference?
Good food for thought. And speaking of long-term building, reputation as leverage.
Right. This isn't just about being liked, although that helps. It's about building a solid reputation for being trustworthy, competent, reliable.
And that's leverage. How so?
Because that kind of reputation, built over time, acts like a magnet. Opportunities come to you. Talented people want to work with you. Capital might be easier to attract. It opens doors, often without you even having to knock.
So every time you deliver on a promise, act with integrity. You're building this invisible asset.
Exactly. It's incremental, like building compounded interest. But the long-term value could be massive. It's a strategic asset, not just a nice to have.
Makes you think about every interaction, doesn't it? How are my actions right now shaping that reputation?
That's the reflection. What message are you sending, consciously or not?
Okay. Next, thinking in portfolios. My mind immediately goes to finance, like diversifying stocks.
And that's the core concept, but applied much more broadly to life itself.
How does that work?
Instead of putting all your eggs in one basket, like Your entire identity is your job, where you only have one core skill or rely on one income source. You diversify. You cultivate a portfolio of assets, maybe multiple skills, a few different ways of earning income, a varied network of relationships, different interests.
So if one area takes a hit, you lose that job, so you're not completely wiped out.
Precisely. You have other things to fall back on, other sources of stability, income, identity, support. It builds resilience against uncertainty. Life throws curveballs, right?
It certainly does.
A portfolio approach helps you weather those storms. So the question becomes, how diversified is your life portfolio? Where could you maybe add some more resilience?
That's a really practical way to think about stability. Okay, last one on the list. The courage to be disliked. This sounds bold.
It is, and maybe necessary. The core idea is, if you're doing anything meaningful, anything that challenges norms, anything based on strong values, someone, somewhere, is probably not going to like it.
You can't please everyone, basically, especially if you're trying to make a difference.
Exactly. That human desire for approval, for belonging, it's powerful. But if you let the fear of disapproval dictate everything you do, well, you'll likely play it safe. You won't rock the boat. You might dilute your impact.
You end up compromising your own values or vision just to avoid criticism.
Right. So this courage is about being willing to stand by your convictions, your principles, your work, even when it's unpopular, even when you face pushback or criticism.
Prioritizing integrity over universal applause.
That's a good way to sum it up.
Yeah.
So the final reflection point here might be, what values, what principles are important enough to you that you'd be willing to stand up for them, even if it meant disagreement or being disliked by some?
Wow. Okay. That's quite a journey through 10 powerful ideas.
It really is. Let's quickly recap. Second order thinking, looking beyond the immediate. The skill of letting go, shedding what holds you back.
Status game awareness, seeing the unconscious drives. Your default mode matters more than your peak consistency rules.
Emotional regulation is a superpower, managing your inner state. Inversion thinking, planning for failure to succeed.
Strategic patience, playing the long game. Reputation as leverage, building trust capital.
Thinking in portfolios, diversifying your life. And the courage to be disliked, standing by your value.
It really does feel like collapsing a lot of wisdom, stuff you might learn over years, into a more digestible framework.
And that's the aim. Each one offers a shift in perspective, a tool you can actually use. They're not just theories, they're actionable insights.
Absolutely. Directly hitting that goal of getting knowledge quickly and thoroughly, knowledge you can actually apply to your personal and professional life.
So maybe the final thought to leave everyone with, building on all this, consider these 10 areas. Which one, if you really leaned into it, if you consciously address that ignored aspect, which one could create the biggest positive shift for you right now? Where could active implementation, not just listening, really start that year of wisdom?